Hello everybody, hope you're doing well. It's Lane here with MetaShackle. Today I'm going to be showing you a few things about Solana. Now I know it's been a while since I've done a video. I've been pretty busy back testing my trading models as I'm going to start taking a combine test in order to get a funded trading account. So I have not been trading my personal accounts. I've been focused on paper trading and perfecting these entry model strategies so that I have the best chance possible to pass that test, because of course getting funded for the amounts that they offer would be quite an advantage over my smaller trading account that I generally trade. But what we're seeing here in Solana is a huge cup and handle pattern. I've known about this for quite some time. If you check out my charts on Tradingview, you can see that I've been tipping people off to the fact that this was in play for quite some time. Now this is a perfect textbook cup and handle pattern. You'll notice this pattern started to form back about the time when Biden was inaugurated into the office of president. So it's been forming for about 4 years. Now this is a massive pattern. This thing has the potential to really move, and pretty much most of this year, 2024, we've been forming this handle section, and it wasn't until the elections where Trump was elected, where we recently just saw, you can see right down here on the 5th, is where we broke out above this upper trend line that has basically been holding the price down, since March of 24. So we've broken out above this. Now if you go to the 15-minute chart, there's this upper line which exhibits the rim line of the cup and handle pattern. So what we're looking for is this to break out of this pattern. Now a lot of times they'll back test these. So once it breaks out past this line and comes up, it'll most likely back test on this line again before it breaks out. So you'll have a couple opportunities for entry if you want to go long. And I have actually been looking to go long off of this trend line right here. You can see that it flaunted with it right here, pulled back down, then right about the election it popped up right here. Now my guess is now that we've broken out of here, it's starting to exhibit symptoms that perhaps what it wants to do is come back down here and retest this breakout line of that trend line that we just spoke about. This is the rim line, and this is the trend line that's been in place since March. So odds are it might want to come down here and retest this line. But what you can see right here is on the 15-minute chart, a fair value gap formed right here, and it's actually been holding the price down. It's binked off of this. Now there is kind of a smaller wedge type pattern right here if you look at it that way. And the price is breaking below, and a lot of times these will fake out. So what you'll end up seeing, I'm not saying that it's going to happen this time, but a lot of times what you'll end up seeing is the price will break below here, come up to the top, break down here, and then it'll break down. So you get a fake out to the downside, then you get a fake out to the upside, and then it'll break down. So basically it shakes out players, it shakes out the shorts here and shakes out the longs on this side. And we could also see this just break down, play off of here, and then come down here. So generally the price action will come up and end up retesting this breakout trend line right here in this area. But I'm not quite sure it's going to get quite down to this trend line. Now there's most likely going to be an order block in this area somewhere here or here that's still in play. But if we go to the daily chart, you can see that a massive fair value gap has formed right here just across that upper trend line. Now this is it's a pretty big fair value gap spanning 10.63% overall. So odds are if this does fall back down to do this retest, there's probably a pretty good chance that what we're going to end up seeing is a retest. Instead of coming down to this lower trend line, exactly to this lower trend line, there's probably a good chance that it'll retest this upper boundary of this fair value gap or into it about a quarter. But if it does penetrate into this, odds are the maximum that you'll see will probably be somewhere around this 50% mark. before it goes up and tests this upper rim line. So this is a great opportunity for entries. So as an example, you set an order here, price comes down, triggers these orders, binks up, and then once we get that breakout above this rim line right here, we could see some substantial moves. So a lot of people are going to be waiting for the price to break out of here, then retest off of this line before taking off. So a lot of people place their orders right here. So preemptively, since there's a fair value gap here on the hourly chart, right here might actually end up being a better entry. Now it very well could break through here and come down to this area before moving up, but I think this is probably a safe play. So simply just by setting your stop loss somewhere below this fair value gap is generally a pretty good bet. I'll usually set, say my 2 buy entries, a stop loss, and then coming off this lower trend line, I would set another buy order here just in case it wicked down in here. It would split my entry and give me a nice average price below the buy price that I'd established. So we could see something really interesting here. I think the key would be trying to get a lower entry somewhere in this area here or this area here rather than waiting for this. That way, once this comes up and sets a top, you can ditch half of your position and then reestablish more down here so you can make some profits on the way up and down. Or you could ditch your whole position if you wanted to. It just depends on your trading strategy. A lot of times the way I like to trade, I'm very conservative with my trades, so I'm always peeling off, thirds and halves and quarters. So I'm always trying to pay myself as the trades are moving in the direction that I want. And I'm not sure if I'm going to be trading this or not because I need to focus on this combine test, so I won't have time to just sit and babysit this trade here on my personal accounts. And there's not a really good advantage to trading cryptos on these combine accounts, as they don't give you quite enough leverage to really make it worth your time. As far as taking the combine test, it's capped off at 2x, to where trading indices and precious metals, for example, are anywhere from 25 to 50x. So odds are I'm not going to put a position on here, but if I do, it would be a smaller position and more of a swing type position where I'd put it on just during the time I was taking the test in hopes that, it might produce a 5 or a 6% swing trade to help me get to my profit numbers that I need to get in order to move on to the second phase of that test. But I just wanted to bring this to everybody's attention. A lot of people are really focused on XRP, and even though I'm a long-term believer in XRP, I think it's got a lot of opportunity as far as a long-term hold goes. It's just almost impossible to trade it because it's so heavily manipulated. So it's better to focus on a vehicle like Sol that actually moves with the market. Plus the liquidity for Sol is much better, and it being higher priced, it's a lot easier to get your orders filled. And the margins are quite a bit tighter on Sol versus XRP, depending on the trading platform you're using. So it's just, for me, it's a better option. I don't like to put these XRP trades on and sit around and wait for 9 days while the rest of the market's making substantial moves. So I think it's much better to buy XRP, store it in cold storage, so that way you have yourself a nice position. But rather than trading leveraged trades in XRP, you use something like Sol. And I personally don't like to trade Bitcoin. My strategy doesn't really work out that great for Bitcoin, but it works out much better for cryptos like Sol or HBAR or Algo. So anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I appreciate you watching. Have a great day and good luck trading.